All right, so this is the second part of my water bill video. You can check out the first part on IG. That's GOOLZBY. All right, so I got my water bill and I have my bills on automatic payment, but I haven't been paying attention. And the water bill has been taxing my pockets. So I'm about to take you through the common places you should check if you feel like your water bill high and you might have a leak in your water line or in your system or whatever. So the first place I recommend you go to is your toilet. All right, so you'll go here. See that? All right, you'll check your flap and you will check your fluid master. All right, if it's completely quiet, you most likely don't have a leak. If you do have a leak, you will hear this. All right, so that's the sound of your toilet leaking. Okay, and then come down here around the toilet, check this connection and check your cutoff to make sure they're not leaking. If they're leaking, you'll probably have water all on your floor. Okay, moving on. All right, so the second place would be underneath your kitchen sink. So I would remove all of these items out of the way, inspect the wood underneath your kitchen sink to make sure there's no water damage, mold, or anything, because I'm guilty of this too. I know y'all don't know what's back there behind you, all these supplies. You ain't checked behind your sink at all. So, yeah, I'm guilty of that. So make sure you do that. But then you want to also find your cutoffs, right? I have 3 back here. You want to make sure they're not leaking, and then trace those supply lines all the way up to the faucet itself to make sure the faucet isn't leaking. All right, cool. Moving on. All right, the next place would be wherever your washer and dryer, where your washer connections are. Okay, so you want to check each one to make sure they're not leaking. All right, then you're going to check where they're connected to. All right, their connections to the washing machine. All right, and I would recommend turn on your washing machine and inspect the lines, because sometimes your washing machine will leak as it's running. Okay, so you'll be losing extra water back here as well. All right, moving on. The next spot is your hot water tank. Okay, so each hot water tank has this. That's your pressure relief valve. This valve releases pressure to the tank if it gets too hot, right? But if this valve goes bad, it releases water, and it will release water continuously until you fix it. So in my garage, my line goes straight down to the ground right here. All right, so if it leaks, I'll see it, right? But in your place, your line might be directed out through the wall, somewhere you can't see it. Okay, so you want to trace this line out, find the end of it to see if water's leaking, because if you don't see the end of it, it could be leaking and you'll never know. All right, so your pressure relief valve on your hot water tank. All right, last but not least is your outside spigots. Make sure they're not leaking. Some houses have spigots underneath the house in the crawl space, underneath decks that you never know are there, and they could be leaking. So you want to search around your house and find all of your spigots and make sure they're not leaking. All right, cool. So what we got? We got the toilet, we got the kitchen sink, we have the laundry connections, washer connections, we have the hot water tank, and then we have your outdoor spigots. All right, so those are 5 places you can check easily to see if you have a leak in your water system. Now, obviously, you're going to check your bathroom sinks and your tub faucets and your shower heads. Those are obvious places that you're going to see leaking every day. So the conclusion of my situation wasn't any of the places that I just showed you. It was my sprinkler system. My sprinkler system was leaking. All right, so let me show you that. All right, so it was my sprinkler system. Let's see if you can see that. This PVC pipe right here, it runs along this fence all the way down. All right, and comes here, there, and right here is where the cutoff was broken. This pipe was broken, so the sprinkler system was leaking underneath the ground for however long it's been leaking. But that's what's been taxing my pockets. So hopefully you find your leak somewhere in the house and it's not outside underneath the ground, because you got to get somebody out to come check it out. All right, but anyway, that's what it do. Building with Goose. Yeah.